All right, so we should be live. Give me a moment to get everything set up, and we'll get started. Let me make sure that everything is going well. Hold on. All right, so let me share this to my Telegram group, and then I'm going to go live on TikTok, and then we can get started here in about 1 minute. So, with that being said, guys, we're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at some altcoins. If you guys have any requests for coins that you would like us to look at, let me know, and I'll look at them after I go over Bitcoin. So that's kind of the plan. As you can see on the right, if you're on YouTube, you can see that I have my Telegram group right there. So feel free to join. That link is in the YouTube description and TikTok bio. So with that being said, I'm going to get live on TikTok. So right now, what is Bitcoin doing? It's at $19,250. Really trying to hold on to that 19K level. Really, where you have support below 19K. You don't have support at 19K. Your support would be at $18,800. So that would be the next support we're looking at for Bitcoin right now. So that's kind of what's on the table for Bitcoin. You have to hold $18,800. We're trying to do two things at once. It's not really working out. So we are good to go now. Let's get started here on Bitcoin and dive into it. So what I said right now, look at what happened earlier. I don't know if I drew this when we were live or not, but we had the symmetrical triangle breaks to the upside 50% of the time or to the downside. Let's just look at this really quick and see if it hit my measure move. From top to bottom, that's how you would have drawn it. And I'm sure it hit the measure move just from looking at it. And then you would take it from the top of the triangle. I guess technically, my measure move was about $20,631 or right around there. And you got all the way up to $20,400 basically. So you were close. You were pretty close. But technically, it did not hit the measure move. But it definitely, that's what happened. So right now you can kind of consolidating. I don't see any crazy patterns that I really need to draw. The 4-hour chart looks really good for Bitcoin and ready to pop to the upside. RSI is extremely low. I mean, can't go any lower. Let's go back to the daily chart and work our way down. Daily chart, though, is bearish, already in a downtrend. But like I said, the smaller time frames, like the 4-hour chart, is very bullish. And the 1-hour chart is pretty low as well. It could come down a little bit lower, but that can reset probably within 2 to 3 hours at most, especially if we get a nice dip back to 18.8 for support. So that is probably the likely thing. I would not be surprised at all. Bitcoin comes down to 18.8 to test that support. I would be very surprised, though, based on the 4-hour chart and based on where this would be if we do go that low, based on the 1-hour chart and 4-hour chart, if we lose 18.8. That would be very surprising to me, at least if it happens this weekend, because the 4-hour chart it can't go much lower. 15-minute chart is also pretty low. So I like what I'm seeing on the 1-hour, 15-minute, and the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. I don't like what I'm seeing on the daily chart, but probably what's going to happen is you're going to get one more test of the low at 18.8. Then you're going to get the bounce. And you're probably going to go at least to 19.5 where you have a high volume node here, or that's where the VPVR is telling you you can go. That's where the most liquidity is. So we can also use that indicator, but we can also go over to Bookmap and kind of see where Bitcoin looks like it's going to go based on liquidity. So if we zoom in a lot here, we're currently at $19,230. You have a little bit up here at 19.4. You have more down here at 19,150 in that range. And you have some at 18.5. So here's what I'm looking at right now. It's more likely that we still come to the downside a little bit. I would not be surprised at all. I'm still thinking we're coming down to 18.8, where you don't have a lot of liquidity, but that's where you have a good support. If you don't hold 18.8, which I do think you do, but then the next stop would be 18.5, and then you have some at 18,000 as well. I don't see 18,000 happening this weekend, but I definitely see 18.8 probably happening, and then you get another bounce to the upside of at least 19.5. But if 19.5 is your next stop after you get the bounce, that would be technically a lower low, because a few days ago we did go up to $20,160. So if you only go to 19.5, that's a lower high, I should say. So Bitcoin really needs to get the bounce. So like I said, just to recap everything, I'm looking for Bitcoin to go to 18,800 where you have some support. Then I'm looking for a bounce on Bitcoin based on the 4-hour chart up to this high. Let me zoom out. There was a high volume node up here at 19.5. I thought there was, at least. I don't know where it went. But 19.5 is also resistance. You have a lot of liquidity at 19.1 as well. Maybe I saw on the daily chart. Let's look. Right here, I don't know where I saw it because now I don't see it anymore. But I do know 19.5 is resistance. So probably you get the bounce at 18.8, go to 19.5, and if you come down from there, that's a lower high. So that's bearish. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for this weekend. That's the best probability right now based on the 4-hour chart. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. So bearish right now on Bitcoin. By the way, let's go over to Maker Coin, having a nice dump right now. I did try to long this at the bottom of this channel right here at 700 and I don't know, 753 is where I got in with the stop at 748. That was a quick trade. I got stopped out. Glad I did because otherwise it'd be down a lot. It was a 5x leverage short, so I lost 4% on that trade. But that's what I did try to do this morning, or probably about an hour ago. It did not work out very well. But, so you technically, right now, you can get the bounce back into the channel, but right now you're out of the channel, so it broke to the downside out of what is kind of like a rising wedge, which do break to the downside 68% of the time. But if they break to the upside, they break to the upside parabolically, and my measured move was $880. So that's kind of what's on the table for Maker right now. If you don't get the bounce here soon, I would say short it, but look at this. Yes, the 4 hour is relatively low. The 1 hour chart is, you can't go any lower, and the 15-minute chart is pretty low, so I would not be saying short this. There's a nice chance you get a bounce back to inside the channel. If you don't, then maybe you can short it, but I'd wait for the 1 hour chart to at least get overbought. And like I said, the 4 hour chart's still relatively, it's at 36, so it's not overbought by any means. So overall, but your next real support on Maker is going to be right here at $651. So that's the next major support. You could also say you have some support right there in this area at 685. So 685 and then 651 is your next support. If you don't hold that, then you have a nice dump to 580. So that's kind of what's on the table for Maker. Just a coin I was trying to trade today. Luna Classic, and then we'll look at whatever, if there's any requests. So right now, Luna Classic is at 30. Is at 30 right now. That's where you have a lot of liquidity, is here at 30. That's where we're trying to turn what was 30 yesterday. And what was 30 yesterday, it was resistance. Now you're trying to turn 30 into support. That's what we're trying to do right now. So it's not doing anything crazy price-wise. You're only down a 0.5%, but you're trying to turn this into support, which, you've been above 30 now for over an hour. So I like that, but you're still barely above it. So, and technically, you made a lower high if that was the high. The previous high the other day was 31. Today, you only got to 30.67, which is very close. So I'm not saying right now it's the lower high because I don't think we've had enough time since it happened. But I am saying that we need to get above 30 convincingly, and we haven't done that just yet. What I am also looking at right now potentially for Luna Classic, based on the last few hours of this is on the 1 hour chart. So I'm kind of looking at something like this. I don't know why that's white. Let me delete that really quick and let me fix that. But first of all, I'm going to make it a color so you guys can see it. Let's just do red. And then I'm kind of looking at this as a cup and handle, which maybe this is a cup and handle. If it is, I'd be very bullish for Luna Classic. And then how you get the measured move out of a cup and handle would be you take it from the top wick to the bottom of the candle, whatever the lowest point was, which was 2.9, basically 2.9 exactly. And then you can simply take it to the bottom, and your measure move would be back to 31.1. That would be the measure move. 31.1 is what it was. So that's how you get the measure move. Hopefully that made sense. But that would be the measure move for Luna Class, or for actually you could take it. I think you're supposed to take it from the top. I guess I need to look that up. If you are supposed to take it from the top, that'd make more sense actually. Then your target would be 32.2. So that's your target right now for Luna Classic if it wants to break out of this. Usually what happens though is you make the cup right, and then you have this handle here. Let me just find my tool. So then you have the kind of like a handle, and then you break to the out of the upside. So you're supposed to take it from wherever this handle would probably form, and then your measure move. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. I haven't done a cup of handle in a while. So 31.6 would be the target. So if it were to make the handle, it could just break out right now, but then it won't really be a cup of handle because you don't have the handle. So with that being said, let's look at whatever requests there are. Appreciate the people that have come in here and liked the video. I appreciate that. So. All right. Am I day trading Bitcoin? You know, some days I do. Short it. Well, it doesn't look very good to me. But, you know, you could do a 5x leverage short. Not saying you should leverage unless you know what you're doing to 18.8. But based on the 1 hour chart being very low on Bitcoin, I'm not going to do that. Crypto and the stock market are about to crash. I don't disagree with you in the long term. Stop looking. You know, guys, there's going to be bullish times in a bear market. You can look for bullish patterns in a bear market. Because guess what? Guess what? I'm in this Luna Classic trade. I got in here, down here at 28. And that's not a crazy move. What is that percent-wise? 28 divided by 30. I don't know. It's probably 5% or something. But when you're doing 5, it's more than that. It's probably 10%. When you're doing 5x leverage like I'm doing, I'm up 50% on the trade. So you can still make money in a bear market if you know what you're doing. Not saying by any means should you use leverage unless you are using proper risk management. But you can still make money in a bear market. You can definitely still lose money, a lot of money in a bear market if you're not doing properly, but you can still make money in a bear market. That's why you still look for bullish patterns. There are still bullish moves in a bear market. You still see altcoins doing crazy percents. Luna Classic a few weeks ago was up like 300% in a week. So there's still coins doing very well in a bear market. Don't fight the trend. We are going down. You could, yeah. Well, if you're investing, I would say this: do not invest long term right now. I'm not personally. Some people might be, but I'm not dollar cost averaging yet. I still think there's more downside. So yes, I'm not buying long term, but I still think short term you can buy the bounces. I shouldn't be teaching. Well, you can go somewhere else then if you don't like what I'm doing. We will look at Ethereum. So, you know, some people are just never happy. I tell you that. So let's go over and look at Ethereum. Ethereum right now is at 1305, and just a second. All right, so if you want to be negative, then you just won't be in my chat. It's really that simple, right? So if you don't like what I'm teaching, you can go somewhere else. It's that simple. All right, so let's look at Ethereum on the daily chart and work our way down. So daily chart, we are still, which I don't think I've shown you guys this, but I drew this last night. This is a falling wedge right now. Actually, I would say this is more of a symmetrical triangle because it's not really going to the downside. So they're 50-50 break to the upside or downside. Measure move to the upside would be 24.61. Maybe I did show you. I think I did show you guys this actually because it's on the daily chart. But what I don't like to see right now is the daily chart is coming down on the RSI, meaning we probably just topped. And if you lose 1196 or 1200, then that means that this is going to break to the downside. The 4-hour chart, let's look at that. The 4-hour chart is really low, though, so I do like that. The 4-hour chart is very low. It can't go any lower. And the 1-hour RSI, trying to get the bounce, struggling to do so if you look there. But 1-hour chart is low. 4-hour chart is low. The 15-minute chart is coming down, so relatively high. But the 4-hour chart is very low. 1-hour chart is pretty low. So I do like that. So that would tell me we're probably going to get another push up, a small push up, maybe even to the top of the channel at 1500, 1520, and then the daily chart will take over and you can come back down to the bottom of the channel around 1200. That would be a very likely possibility. I'm just going to draw that out and just see if that happens, and then we can come back on Tuesday when I'll be live again, and we can see if that played out. Obviously, we won't know the whole story, but we can see if we at least got the bounce to the upside by then. So that's what I would expect from Ethereum, not financial advice, but that just makes the most sense to me based on the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart being pretty low, and then the daily chart will probably take over with it being very high, and then you can get the the place you can go back to the downside to around 1200. If you lose 1200 though, like I said, then you're breaking to the downside, which would be a very big move to the downside. But until that happens, I'm not gonna show you guys a measure move because it's pretty scary of where it's headed. So that would be kind of short term. I'd be looking for a bounce to around 1520, and then probably a rejection back to 1200 area. That's kind of what I'm looking at for Ethereum. So that is what it is. So that, if you guys have any other requests, let me know and I'll look at them. But that's Ethereum, Bitcoin. We went over Luna Classic and we went over Maker. This chart right here is Ethereum 3S short. Like I said, so this is basically, if you buy this, you're expecting Ethereum to go down, and then if Ethereum goes down 1%, you make 3% on the trade. But I usually don't trade these anymore because sometimes it can be decoupled from the actual coin Ethereum, because if you look at the daily chart, it's just in a straight downtrend, not only because Ethereum's just gone down, but because they're being decoupled. I mean, this thing started at $3.80 and now it's like a third of a penny. So I mean, that's why I don't trade it. I mean, you could never, this is like coins you would day trade. If you hold this long term, you're never going to make money. Even if you did the Ethereum, yeah, because this is betting Ethereum is going to go down, and this coin, even though Ethereum has gone down in this bear market, this coin is still down like 99% ever since it came out. So this is why I don't like this. This is why I personally leverage trade and don't buy coin 3Ss, because they get decoupled and eventually over time they just lose value. Kind of like what Dogecoin does. But with that being said, guys, that's kind of all I got. I'm looking for a bounce on Ethereum. Let me see if there's any requests on YouTube. And Bitcoin, you know, so I'm looking for the bounce on Ethereum, at least a 1520, 1500, 1520 area, and then a rejection. I'm personally in a trade, like I said, on Luna Classic, just to wrap everything up. My measure move, where I'll be taking profits personally, is all the way up here. So the short-term target for Luna Classic is around 31.5, but my long-term target is around 40 to 44. So around 40 is when I would think about starting to take profits, because you were in this humongous falling wedge on Luna Classic, and that's the move to the upside is still in play right now. You're still in an uptrend ever since you broke out. You kind of have this smaller falling wedge here on Luna Classic. On the 4-hour chart, you broke again to the upside, not parabolically, but you are in an uptrend on Luna Classic. So technically 44 is still a measure move. I'll probably take profits a little earlier around 40, but that will be a nice trade for me because it is a 5x leverage. So that would be getting in at 28 and selling at 40. I don't know, that's probably 30-40% plus leverage. So whatever math that would come out to be, that's kind of what I'm looking at first. So, but short term on Luna Classic, like I said, going back to the 15-minute chart, you are in a cup and handle right now, and measure move would be 31.6. So that's kind of it for Luna Classic. That's the only trade I'm in right now. I'm still watching Bitcoin to see what I need to do, but I don't think there's a clear direction of where it wants to go. Even though the 4-hour chart is pretty low, and as is the 1-hour chart, I think you come down to 18.8 and then you go to 19.5 or 20K before getting rejected again. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for crypto markets and different coins throughout the markets. So that's kind of all I got. I don't think any crazy moves will happen on Bitcoin this weekend, but that's what I expect to happen over the next day or two. Yes, Luna Classic is very risky, but that's why I'm not using much of my account in the trade. So I don't know what you disagree about, but that's all right. We all have our own opinions. I'm still shorting Atom. Short thoughts. Let's look. Let's go look at Atom. First of all, I'm just going to look at Atom because, like I said, I don't like the 3S coins, but I will look at Atom. I mean, here's the thing. If you're day trading Atom or any 3S coins, long or short, it's fine. But if you're swing trading, you're good luck because they lose value over time. So Atom, right now, let me go start on the daily chart and work our way down. That's usually how I like to do it. And you said you're on shorting. Yeah, we'll look at the 4-hour chart. So daily chart, though, right now is very, very, very low. So to me, let's just look at the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart still has room to come down. If you're already in a short, There's more time for this to come down short term, so then you can probably stay in the trade. I would not be opening up shorts right now because it's not overbought anymore. It's at 38, so that's neutral, and the 1 hour chart is already getting the bounce. So it's probably about time to think about closing the short at least later tonight, because this probably won't take much longer. How much time is left in the candle until the 4 hour? Okay, you got 3.5 hours left in the 4 hour candle. Let's look at the 3 hour chart. 3 hour chart's is already oversold now. Just got oversold. So I would say, let's go back to the price action wise. You already had a nice dump. The high was all the way up here, $17.18, and you're all the way at $12. So I'm not saying the short is over, but I am saying that it's time to think about taking profits, or at least move your stop to in profits if you haven't done so. From the top, it's down almost 29%. So that's pretty good short, especially if you're doing 3x. I don't know where you started it from, but it's a good short that you're in so far. But like I said, I think it's about ready to have a bounce. The last time you got a really huge bounce was $11.40, and you're relatively close to that. It probably will make a higher low here, above 1140, but we will see. Anything can happen, right? You could have a double bottom at 1140, but if it was me personally, I would be taking profits in the trade or moving my stop up at least to where you got the last rejection, which if you zoom in on the 4 hour chart was around 1537. So at least move your stop to that. That's just what I would do, right? Now I'm not telling you what to do, but that's what I would do. Move your stop to 15,830. 1540 if you got in close to $17. Personally, I'd even want to move. Probably, actually, if you zoom in even more, you also got rejected here at 1331. So if you want to be really aggressive, that's actually probably a better place to move it, just so you can lock in more profits. So if you got in, around 14, 15 bucks, I would move my stop to 1330 or 1340 personally. But Atom 3S, it had the short. It's almost done playing out, in my opinion, though. So personally, I'd be thinking about taking profits, or at least move your stop up. I would not be entering a short on it right now, especially with the daily chart being ready for a huge bounce back to the upside. So that's kind of Atom. 4 hour chart still has a little more downside probably, but daily chart is about to rip to the upside, in my humble opinion. Also, look, guys, I mean, if you do go back to the upside, then you have a lot of liquidity up there at $29, so there's a good chance that would be where you go. And like I said, where have the support drawn? You have a huge volume node here at 1170. So I would say anything below 12 bucks is time to get out of the short, because you have a lot of volume here at 1170, and usually when you lose a huge volume node, you do come down to the next one. So 1170 is very likely that does happen, but I would say anything below 12 bucks is probably time to cut the short and take profits. But congrats on the short. It looks like you're probably doing pretty good on the short. So this is called the VRVP. That's what it's called right there. VRP number of, yeah. I always forget how you word it, what order the letters go in. But VRVP, volume range, volume profile. So that's what it's called. So appreciate the follow, guys. I appreciate the likes as well. You have a trailing stop loss. I'm just curious what exchange you use, because I don't know what exchange you can do that. I know on 3 commas I think you can do a trailing stop loss, but quant run going to turn hard. I don't know what quant's doing. QNT. I mean, I had this in a falling wedge, right? Let me move this so you guys can see it on TikTok. I had this in a falling wedge, and yeah, it's my measure move is still up here at 170. I would say when it gets to 170, that'd be time for probably some sort of move to the downside. I'll make an alert up here just so I know if it gets hit, but I don't think the move is done just yet for quant, although the daily chart is telling you that it is done. And the 4 hour chart is almost oversold. And the 4 hour chart is definitely making a higher low, which tells me quant is going to continue to the upside. The 4-hour chart is getting oversold while you made a higher low. The previous time it was oversold. The price was $126, $127, and right now you're at $138. That's a higher low. That tells me quant wants to continue. This might be one that I would actually, I'm not saying long it, but I am definitely saying watch it. And if it is going to go to 170, there is room for more to the upside. I'm just going to watch quant. That's one that will be on my radar. I did draw this. I kind of forgot about it, but that's one I would watch. Quant can definitely keep going to the upside based on the 4-hour chart. Let's look at the 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart is also very, very low in a nice uptrend. To me, quant still looks like it has a lot more room to go because you're making higher low. So, yeah, it's confirming the uptrend is going to probably continue to the upside, which is good. I don't think quant's going to crash anytime soon. Well, I shouldn't say that because the daily chart is coming down. But it doesn't look like it's going to crash this weekend. I'll say that. Would I hold quant? No. The coins, because I've lost, I was trading in the last bull market, a lot of shit coins that I shouldn't have done, like a lot of coins that you find on Uniswap, right? So I made a lot of money doing it. Oh my God. And I made a lot of money doing it, and I also lost everything because then I sold it, but then I decided to get back in because I thought I'd keep going up. It didn't, and yeah. I learned a lot of lessons in the last bull market that cost me a lot of money. So I'm going to be a lot more conservative this year, or this next few years, as I start to accumulate, which probably will be in a few months, especially if Bitcoin goes back, makes a new low. That's maybe when I'm going to start thinking about buying. But the coins I'm going to be buying this bull run is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and I hold some Chainlink. Those are the 4 main coins, and then I'll trade. And maybe there will be another coin that I'll add in there, but those are the 4 I'm definitely going to hold. The biggest 3 will be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, and then I'll hold a small amount of Chainlink. And that will be my main portfolio. Maybe I'll add, if I find a coin I love, maybe I'll add to it or something. But those are going to be the 3 main ones. I might hold like a coin on Uniswap, but like I'm going to use better risk management this time around, and it won't be my whole portfolio like it was the last bull run or like it was a year or 2 ago. It would be like 1%. So if I do buy a coin on Uniswap, it would only be 1% of my portfolio. So so personally, quant would not be in my list. But I'm not saying it's going to do awful as bull market. I just don't think it's going to. It might do just as well or outperform Ethereum. It could, but I think Ethereum's a safer place, so that's what I'm going to do. You can still make a lot of money by holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano if you just hold it for a few, 2 cycles. You can make a lot of money. Now, I'll probably sell it at the top of the next cycle or when I think the top is in, and then try to buy the bear market dip. But that's kind of, so personally, I'm not going to hold quant this next year. Not saying you shouldn't do it, but that's just me. Similar story. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Unfortunate. Why Cardano? I don't know. It's just one of the top coins because here's the thing. Here's the thing. If it competes, if it's going to compete with Ethereum, it's going to do really well. And let's just go look at the chart. It's not that I'm a huge fan of the coin. It's that I think it's going to do pretty well in this next bull market. And if it does ever, I'm not a believer that it will, but if it does, if it does on that small chance take over Ethereum market cap wise, it's going to do crazy numbers. So, right now it's at 42 cents. Let's just zoom out to the weekly chart, right? Hold on. So even if it goes back to all-time highs at $3.24. Let me get out my calculator. $3.24. And you buy right now, and you don't wait for a bigger dip. And you say you buy at 43 cents. That's a 7.5x. Now, that's nothing crazy for crypto, but that's still really good. If you put in $10,000, you have $75,000. And, like I said, if I believe that Bitcoin and everything's going to go lower, Cardano will too, right? Cardano will go lower, probably back to 30, 20, I don't know. I'm not going to say when the low is in, but it's probably going to hit 30 cents. That's just my guess, at least 30 cents, if not lower. And then if it makes a higher high in the next bull market, say it goes to say it goes to $4 or $5, even if it just goes to $4 and you buy it at 30 cents, that's a 13x. I mean, 13x in 2 or 3 years. if you have a few $1,000s, that's a pretty good return. If you have $100, you know, it's still a pretty good return. It's just not a lot of money. So that's why, because if it ever takes over Ethereum, it's going to do well over 10x, probably a 20 to 30x in this next market. And Ethereum might do similar things, but I just will be a little diversified. So that's also why I said 1% of my portfolio will be in probably Uniswap coins, and I'll have a small amount of Chainlink. So I'll be a little diversified, but not as much as the last. I'll be more diversified actually than the last bull market, because the last bull market I only had like a few coins that were really awful coins. I did hold XLM and stuff. I actually made some money on those, but I just wasn't super diversified, especially because I got impatient and sold those off, which probably did sell them off at the right time, but yeah, I was just too impatient. So I was trading 100% of my account with 100% leverage. You can guess how that ended. So here's the thing. I made a video on my YouTube channel a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago now, 2-3 months ago, where I was going to try to trade $100 every day for 3%. Every day for 3%. And that didn't really work out, right? It didn't work out because it just didn't. So here's what I did now. Now I decide I'd start with $1,000 and only trade Bitcoin, so it's safer. And if I do trade altcoins, it's going to be with not my whole portfolio. But if I do trade Bitcoin, it will be with my whole portfolio with good risk management. So if you have good risk management, I say you can trade your whole portfolio. I think for 99% of people, that's an awful idea, but that's just what I'm doing. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm just going to go do investing. I'll have to stop trading. I mean, that's seriously what I told myself, because I can't keep losing this kind of money. But so I give it one more chance. Right now, that counts at like 10.55. I started about a week ago, so it's doing pretty good. My goal is to make at least 1% to 4% a day on average. If I can even make 1% a day, you can make quite a bit of money. Let me just, I think I have a chart of it. I think. Okay, well, we can do this. 2%. If I make 2% a day, and you start with $500, I started with $1,000, but just say you start with $500. I'm not renewing Office. Say you start with $500 and you just make 2% a day. By the end of the year, I mean, it's really hard to make 2% a day every day, but by the end of the year, you'd have $661,000 if you were able to do it. Some days you might lose 4% or a few percent, then you have to make more percent the next day. But that's what you can do if you can compound. So, you know, I don't think it's the worst idea to trade your whole account if you're starting with a little bit of money. If you're starting with like $1 million, you should not be trading your whole account. That's pretty stupid in my opinion. But yeah, you know, I would say though most times you should not trade your whole account, especially with an altcoin. If it's a Bitcoin or a safer coin that you can predict more, I think it's okay, especially when you have more tools like Bookmap and everything that show you where the liquidity is on Bitcoin. So I'm wishy-washy. I'm not sure why you would say that. I've got to do HBAR. Where have I been? I've been live, you know. So I have this new job, so I'm going live at different times. On Tuesdays, I'll be live, I think, at 8 p.m. Central Time. I'd have to double. Yeah, I think that's what I said. And then Saturdays, obviously, I'm live right now at 3 p.m. Central Time. So that's kind of my new schedule. So that's where I've been. This will be a new routine now. So I'll be back now if I haven't been live all the time. But I got some KuCoin trades for you to look at. You don't have to limit orders. Just look. Okay, well, what are the coins? Appreciate the follow. Yeah, I mean, if you can't explain, hold on, who said that? If you can't, I asked you why am I? You said you are wishy-washy, and you never explained why. I mean, yeah, that makes no sense. So, and you're not gonna explain why you think that? Nah, dude, that's just. It's just Ridiculous. All right, so you can't even back it up, so you're done. Yeah, I'll do H bar. I'm sorry. I'll do H bar. H bar. Oh my God, H bar's that thing looks awful on the weekly chart. Whew. Wow. All right, so let's do H bar. Let me get started on the daily chart though. Daily chart has a little bit more room to come down, but the RSI is relatively low, neutral at 38. The 4-hour chart, I mean that, oh God, even the daily chart looks just awful. That thing is going straight down. All right, so let's look at the 4-hour chart. Man, people buy this stuff and think, well, it can't go much lower. It's already down 99% for this bear market. It can't go any lower, and then it goes down another 99%. You know, this is why you can't be in just one coin. You have to be different. This thing looks awful. It's even the 4-hour chart is overbought. I'm sorry. The 4-hour chart, this is bad, right? The 4-hour chart is overbought again, but you didn't make a higher high. The previous time you were overbought, I believe, was right here. Actually, let's look at back here. Well, yeah, you can do this. The previous time you were overbought was 6 cents. And you're getting overbought again, and you're not coming close to 6.1 cents, which, I mean, you're kind of close, but you also didn't go much lower. Now, I guess the only good thing is you're making higher lows short term, but it doesn't look very convincing to me. I mean, that just doesn't look great to me. You could kind of say that's a rising wedge, or I'm sorry, a falling wedge, maybe, but this thing overall, this thing on the macro term looks horrible. So there's a measure move if it doesn't want to break to the upside. Would be 6.36 cents, almost for like a double top. If it were to break to the downside for a new low, which based on what the weekly and daily chart looks like, I wouldn't be surprised. That would take you all the way down to 4.95 cents. Honestly, with the 4-hour chart being high, the daily chart isn't that high. It's neutral, I guess. Let's look at the 1 hour. 1 hour chart's definitely high. To me, it's probably going to break to the downside, unfortunately. This is actually one I might see if I can just short. I mean, it's hard to go wrong shorting a bear market when it's just going straight down. Now, obviously, at some time it needs a bounce, but you got the small bounce, and the RSI is just overbought again without breaking a previous high. So it's probably going to break to the downside, but we will see. Like I said, another good way to see if it's going to break to the upside or downside is when you're getting close to the end of the channel or end of the pattern. If it's at the top of the channel, it's probably going to get rejected and come to the downside. If it was at the bottom of the channel, probably say at 5.6 cents, and it was close to the end of the pattern, it'd probably break to the upside. That's usually how it happens. So overall, especially with that and paired with the RSI being high, it's more than likely you at least get rejected one more time and come down before a nice bounce. But my guess is you probably come down to this measure move down here around 5 cents. So H bar to me is... it looks horrible. I mean, that is by far the worst coin I have seen in a long time. I hate to say it, but it looks bad. So, I mean, I don't know. I've never... we will look at Mana. I have a position in GMB. I'm using MACD indicator. Is that like... Okay, I've never heard of GMB. GMB. It's on KuCoin. Okay. I have never using what analysis? Hold on. MACD. Here's the thing. You can do whatever. I mean, if that works for you, great. But I think that MACD is about the worst indicator you can use for it to be accurate. I think it's about the worst indicator. I mean, this is why I tried to use it, and it's so hard to predict. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick and kind of go through it. I mean, the other problem is it's a lagging indicator. So you get the indicator and the price action has already done its thing by the time it's showing you what's going to happen. So it's either the indicator is a lagging indicator, so it doesn't really help you predict what's going to happen. Yes, if it's just gone straight down and the indicator is in the red, it's probably going to go back to the green. I mean, that's common sense. It just like if the price falls, it's probably going to get a bounce pretty soon. This is why I like using the stock RSI indicator, because it's a future indicator of what's probably going to happen. I've seen just, trade it yourself and try it yourself. So many times, the 4-hour chart on the RSI will get high, or even the 50-minute chart, or any time frame, and you get a move to the downside in the price action. Okay, so I'm predicting right now. We can test it right now if you want to in this coin GMB that looks like it just as bad as HBAR. You can test it right now. You're getting high on the 4-hour chart. I would say you're not going to break 1934, which was the previous high. It looks like you're going to make a lower low, probably around 19, or not even close to 19 actually. You're probably going to use what was once supported as resistance around 1839, and then probably go to the downside. That's the problem with Mackie. It's a lag indicator. It doesn't show you what's going to happen. It shows you what already has happened. That's why I don't use it anymore. I want to be able to predict what's going to happen. I already know if the price is going straight down, it's going to probably get a bounce. But if it works for you, then great. I'm happy. But for me, no. What is this on the side? Is that what you mean? It's called the VRVP. So let me go to a coin that is actually a real coin and not this coin, because this looks awful. I'm sorry. I'm very honest. Okay. So here's the thing. I can go to the daily chart on Bitcoin. So here's what happened. If you look back here, let me put my phone back so I can. So if you look back here, you had a huge node, right, at $30,000. The second you lost that node, or the whatever you want to call it, that line, you came all the way down to $20,000 on the daily chart. Yes, it took a few days, maybe a week or two to happen, but that's where you went, right? You came down to the next huge area of liquidity, and that's what happened. Now, I will say this. When Bitcoin got the bounce from 20K a few weeks ago, you did not go back to 30,000. But more times than not, when you lose a node like this, which is what I call this, a node, you come down to the next area of huge support. Usually when you get the bounce above it, you go to the next one. It's not 100% accurate, obviously, but it does work pretty well. So that's just telling you where there's a lot of orders or volume on crypto or any coin, and that's usually where the price goes long term. So you can use it on any time frame, but that's just what that does. But the other thing I like about this, or about Bitcoin, is that you can use Bookmap, and that tells you where the orders are, sells or buys, which you can use the order book for. But this tells you it's just easier to see. So, but the thing is, you can only use this for Bitcoin, as far as I'm aware. So that's also why I think trading Bitcoin is a safer play, and they just add some leverage to it. All right, so someone requested Mana. Let's go look at Mana. And then we can look at XRP. Haters are gonna hate. It's awesome. You're doing something right if you get people coming in here, multiple people now. I don't know if it's Nothing will happen. This is bots on action. I'm not quite sure what that's referring to. But we will look at XRP. So, it's called stochastic RSI. It's not the regular RSI, so it's more accurate in my opinion. So someone requested Mana. Did I just look at Mana? I think I just did, actually. I guess I'll double check. I don't know what the last one looked at. I think it was the one that looked awful. Let me look. I think so. Yeah, I think. All right, so XRP was the next request. Wait, no, I don't. Hold on. I think I looked at HBAR. So I don't think we have looked at Mana, have we? I don't even know. Either way, this looks just as bad as Mana, or as HBAR. The daily chart is overbought. The 4-hour chart is oversold. The 1-hour chart is oversold. So you could here's the thing. I only use this indicator. Really, I could trade only using the stochastic RSI indicator. I could get rid of this one. It's nice to have that one, but I could trade with just this one. This is the one I use 95% of the time, and it's very accurate. So the 4-hour chart is getting oversold. You're probably going to get a small bounce to the upside, but because you're in a massive downtrend, until make it a higher high above the previous high on the 4-hour chart, you're not bullish. So the previous high you'd have to break to be bullish would be 72, 73 cents. If you don't get above 73 cents on the next time you get a bounce, you're bearish. Actually, I take that back. If you want to be really specific and really zoom in, you would say you have to get above 72 cents. If you don't get above 72 cents on the next bounce, you're in a massive, well, then that just tells you the trend will continue. And then you could open up a short potentially at that point. So that's just kind of what that's saying. Sorry about that. By the way, we are on YouTube as well. So, yeah. So, you kind of just doesn't look very good to me. I don't know if you want to call it what it is. I mean, I guess short term, you kind of got a double bottom there at 67.25 cents. But you have to get above 72 cents again to be even bullish on the short-term time frames like the 4-hour chart. So that's kind of it for Mana. Let's go look at XRP, something that might have be a little more safe to trade. I'm not saying, well, I shouldn't say that. It's probably just as bad to trade. But at least it hasn't gone straight down. Despite all the bearish news that it's had over the last few years, it's actually surviving. So let's clear the chart and let's restart. So right now, XRP trying to get the bounce, getting a nice bounce off of this huge area of support that I had drawn already around 30 cents. I mean, that's a really good bounce. Now, the problem is, first of all, I need to go to the daily chart. Second of all, daily chart is on a downtrend. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart overbought, made a lower high on the 4-hour time frame. Previous high was 56 cents or about that, and you only got to 51 the last high, so that's now starting what we would call a downtrend. I'm just kind of trying to project what could happen here. Maybe you're in something like that. That's a very rough drawing of it. You could even say something like that, but which to me, that's like a huge symmetrical triangle on XRP. So you can just take it both ways, to the upside and downside, and see what the measured moves are. If this is a, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that sees this. Measured move to the upside, 50% chance it goes to the upside, 50% chance it goes to the downside. Measured move is 78 cents. If it wants to fall to the downside, your measured move would be the same. Just move the line, and your measured move would be 25 cents. If XRP wins the case, it's probably going to go to 80 cents. I think that's probably more likely scenario. So this, I do like XRP. I like it a lot better than the ones we just looked at, like Mana and HBAR. I think this has a lot more potential. I won't buy this in the for the next bull market, but I don't think it's a bad one to buy for an investment. Not saying you should do it just yet, but this is a coin that I actually think has limited downside, especially if they win the case. And as far as I've heard, they have not. So, we can do KNC. Can you take a look at RDN, hold, or cut my losses? I can't tell you what to do, but I will look at them. We did look at Bitcoin. If you guys are on YouTube, you guys can go back in the stream and just rewatch the first few minutes of the stream. The link, it's Crypto Boss Andrew on YouTube. But before I go end it, I will look at that. So, okay, I gotta keep up. So it's KNC, and then after KNC, Solana was a request. Someone else wanted to look at another coin, RDN, which I have no idea what that is. So it's KNC, RDN, and Solana, and then Bitcoin will wrap everything up once I'm done with requests. And then Gala. All right. I should make people start sending in gifts if they want to look at something, but whatever. All right, so KNC is the next request. Where's XRP going? I just went over it. It's literally still on the screen. So KNC is the next one. All right. So KNC is currently at $1.16. $1.16 on this. Let me start on the daily chart though, and we'll work our way down. Oh my God. So it's KNC. I'm using the KuCoin chart. This looks pretty awful. It came out on KuCoin at $5.75. And it's currently at $1.16, so it's gone straight down almost. You had a nice rally, but yeah, definitely made a lower low at 209. The previous one was 292. This thing is just going to go down and down and down. All right, so daily chart, trying to get the nice bounce, so it actually looks good on the daily chart. But look at this. The RSI is already at 28, and you got almost next to no bounce compared to the previous bounces. So it's probably going to make a lower high below 209. The 4-hour chart is probably it's overbought and coming down, and you most definitely did not break a previous high. To me, KNC is a huge opportunity for a macro short, because at least I'm not saying yet, because the daily chart has juice to the upside, right? Daily chart is just getting started, but I'm going to say this: when this gets to $2 and makes a lower high, if it even gets close to that, that's a huge short. So I'm going to personally set an alert at this just for like $1.80. And if it gets close to $2, I'm going to look at it again and maybe I'll short it. But right now it's, I'm not going to short now. 4-hour chart's already coming down. Daily chart's just getting started though. So I'd be shorting on the daily chart. But I still look, whenever I take a position, say it's on the daily time frame, which I don't do very often, but if I did, I still look at the 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, and 15-minute chart to see if that's the best time to get in. I don't just trade on one time frame. 1-hour chart's already getting the bounce. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Yeah, it said my time on TikTok was done for the day. I'm like, I'm still, going live. So, anyways, like I said, 4-hour chart, I would not be shorting this just yet, but I do think based on the daily chart, I don't know how long it was off for, but I do think based on the daily chart, when this is going to make a lower high, $2 or lower, probably around $1.80, and when that happens, it would be a good opportunity to short it, more than likely. You just have to reevaluate it. I don't trade on just one time frame. I don't know if you guys heard that. So if I'm going to take a short or any position on the daily time frame, I still look at the 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, and 15-minute chart to see if it'd be the best opportunity to get into a trade. Reported there. I'm live on YouTube as well. I can't recap every coin. On mobile device less laggy. First of all, I don't know how you even use indicators on. Well, I guess you can do, guys. It's not hard. I use TradingView on my phone. I don't chart on KuCoin. I have no idea about Flux. Sorry. Have I covered Redx DLT XRD by any chance? I have not. Have I covered Redx DLT XRD by any chance? I have not. No. Someone just became a top viewer. Wow. So, all right, guys, the next one, we have Ala and Karo. Those are the next requests. We just did KNC, and we did XRP before that. So, if you guys want me, just go on YouTube and look it up if you guys want to see it again. All right, so I got to fly look at it. Oh, my, no. So just no. 15-minute chart has no liquidity. Look at these crazy swings. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't like to promote coins that are like this because there's just no liquidity and it's on a sketchy exchange. I don't know if sketchy is the right word, Gate.io, but it's on an exchange no one uses. So if it's not on Coinbase or KuCoin, I'm not going to look at it. I'm sorry. And plus, I looked at the 15-minute chart. There's no volume. So, I wouldn't even suggest you trade this to begin with. So, I can't look at that. Solana. Oh, my God. Solana took a dump as well. But at least I know Solana's a good project. So, not one I'd invested. But I know it's still a pretty... It's not financial advice. Daily chart is overbought, coming down. I'm pretty sure he made a lower high on the daily chart. The 4-hour chart is completely low. So that's, you know, let me look at the 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart's low. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. The 15-minute chart is loading. Oh my gosh. 15-minute chart's high. 1-hour chart, 4-hour chart is low. So when the 15-minute comes down, this could be a good long opportunity. Not financial advice. But my problem is if I go back to the 4-hour chart. Daily chart. How's the 4-hour chart look? My internet is so bad today. I don't know what's going on. It was fine before I started. Made a lower high in the 4-hour chart. Not interested in touching that for an investment yet. It's another YouTuber. That's my hint I'll give you. So chart's pretty low. The 1-hour chart. Let me just see if I can even leverage trade Flux, which I can't. That's unfortunate. But Flux still looks like a good trade. So that's the one I like the best. We did XRP. The one I like the best. We did XRP. No, XRD. That was the next request. 1-hour chart made a higher high when it was overbought on the RSI. And, well, so I mean, it's an uptrend right now. So Deso looks pretty good. Not saying you should buy it right now because it is up pretty nicely. But I was thinking it was going to do crazy numbers. It really only got to like, what, $50 or something. Maybe it went to 100. Words back, I get paid out in crypto. And I was buying Bitcoin and then just earning interest on it. But a few months ago, then they said, well, you can't earn interest on it now or anymore for some XRD. EXRD. There you go. There's the ticker. And I can... these coins look horrible. So, right now on the daily chart... My God, I mean, that just looks... Why even want to buy this? I mean, I don't know. This just looks horrible. Chart, let's see if it's... Oh, I don't want to do that. Let's see if we are making a reversal to the upside, which I have my doubts about. The 4-hour chart got overbought there. It made a lower high. So, you know, it's in a downtrend. The 4-hour chart doesn't look bullish. The daily chart doesn't look bullish to me. So there's no point even going more in depth on it. I'm not only going to talk about coins that I think have potential to make a reversal or that I like for the next bull market. And this is definitely not either of those categories. So it doesn't look bullish. It gets completely overbought or even close to being overbought. Clearly, your next one is all the way up here at $6.78. And I think I just told you the measure move is above $7. So... I wish, man, that makes me a little more confident in my what I just drew, that this thing could actually go to $7.10, $7 or high, you know, around $7. That could totally happen. This might be one I'm watching tonight. I mean, ERN, that could be the one to watch tonight, as well as Flux. Those are the top two favorite coins I've looked at. Now, I would say this, you kind of got double top here, but if you break this $4.20 area, you are going to go nuts. This thing is going to go nuts. If you want to be safe, you can call it $4.50. If you break that, you're probably going to go to the next target, which is that $7 area. So ERN, measure move would take you right to resistance. I mean, and you have no major resistance, at least on the daily and weekly chart, until $7 if you break 450. So to me, this thing could keep going even though it's at 42%. That would be it would be crazy. So ERN, man, that might be one to watch. It really might be. We already did Crow. XRD is a top 15. Last time I said that, Matic was at 1 cent. AMP, we can look at AMP. Here, I mean, it's really this simple. And it's kind of hard to show you. I could go back to Bitcoin. I mean, I don't trade it. I mean, I don't use it. It's interesting to look at, but I don't however you say it. But there's easier to see where the orders are. This is the order book for Bitcoin, and it tells you wherever there's more liquidity, that's usually where the price action goes. So you see right now, if I zoom in, okay, I need to zoom out a little bit. You're at $19,270. You have just as much liquidity here at 19,175 as you do up here at 19,375. If I zoom in a little bit more, I might be able to see 120. It's more likely that you go to 1900 PH. You know, I know AMP has it's a pretty big coin, so there's liquidity with it. But daily chart. So IXS looks promising. PHB, please. Okay, you know, some of these coins I cannot just because they're not on KuCoin or Coinbase, and of course this one is not on. It's on Binance though, so I'll look at it. Oh my God, daily chart, 4-hour. Rewatch anything. I am on YouTube, Crypto Boss Andrew on there, so you can rewatch the stream there. And if you guys have any questions and you want to DM me, you can DM me on my Telegram group. Not DM me, but just ask in the main chat. And the link to that should also be on TikTok and the YouTube description as well in the video. So I'm going to go wrap up Bitcoin now. And that'll basically be it. Let me go back to Bookmap here and just zoom out a little bit. So I don't think you could go much lower than when you are now. I do think 19.5 will happen probably within the next 24 hours. Maybe even 20K again, because you're not very far from 19.5 and the 4-hour chart is very low. So for Bitcoin, I still would not take a position on it because I do think a big Bookmap is indecisive of where's the price going to go. But based on the 4-hour stop loss whenever trading. You're up 60%. If you're up, I would take profit. So I am going to end the stream here. I'll see you guys on Tuesday.